What's going on YouTube? We got another Kinemon mirror match. I'm playing on the right, going second. My opponent started off with a Momo turn 1. I'm going to start off with a Raizo. If I have a Bonnie or Momo in hand, that Raizo is going to start netting me more card advantage. He's going to activate Momo for 1. He sees 2 Odins, he's just going to take one of those. In the mirror, you want to see your big drops. If you don't play them on curve, you're going to be very far behind. So he already has his 8 drop lined up. He plays an Okiku. So here I play my Bonnie. Now the Bonnie's tapped, and when I attack with Raizo, I'll get that extra plus. I'm really digging for that 7-cost kid. If I get that 7-cost kid on board, it'll just be very aggressive. Looks like I picked up a Punk Gibson, which I feel like is not that good just because now they know you have it. I'll leave the 2 up for Punk Gibson. Seems like I didn't have anything else to play. This would have been a great turn to play another Okiku or another Raizo, but it didn't seem like I had anything. So that 2 up can at the very least protect the Raizo. He's going to clear the Bonnie. I'm just going to let it go. No way I can counter that. He's going to attack into the Raizo. And I'm thinking I could drop a 2K counter, or I could just use the Punk Gibson. Because if I don't use the Punk Gibson now, it's probably just going to sit in my hand until late game. So I just get rid of it. And there he uses his 5 down turn to play an Okiku and a Raizo. So he has 3 characters on board now. Only thing about having too many characters on board as Kinemon is that then your leader ability won't be live if I end up not being able to clear all of them. So I activate leader ability before I use Momo, just so that effect is just floating there for the next available target. I'm probably hoping to find a Yamato or an Okiku, but I find a 2K counter Izo, so that's also good. Now I play out the Yamato for 3, because I really want to get rid of that Raizo on his board. I don't want him netting more advantage. So I'm going to swing 4 to 4, he's going to counter out with 1K. I still have my leader swing and 1 down up. So I elect to swing for 6K and he lets it go. At least this way I got 1 card out of his hand. He does have 2 Okikus on board now, and he's at 7 Dan, so he won't be able to play his Odin for 7. But if he does have Kid in hand, it's also going to be equally as effective. So he's going to try to get rid of the Raizo, 5K swing. It goes through. The Momo dies as well. And with 7 down left, he's going to swing with the Okiku as well. No point in keeping it active. Just get that extra swing in and take a card out of my hand. And he plays the 7-drop kid on curve, which is very good for him. If I don't have a response to that in terms of my board, he's likely going to snowball and just take the game just like that, because every turn he could just swing 8K. So once I see that 7-drop on board, I'm going to go aggressive. I clear one of the Okikus. Then I might have made a mistake there. I swung 7K to life instead of into the Okiku. My reason being, if I swing 7K into the Okiku, he's probably just going to block with the kid and toss out 1 card. But at the very least, he does still toss out cards. But instead I attacked life, so he +1 off his life. But I am forced to be aggressive just because he has that 7-drop on board now. That Yamato dies with a 8K swing from 7-cost kid. He's just swinging leader now, and I'm just countering out of it. I do have Odin on board, so it's not so bad. But then he drops his own Odin. So his board state is very oppressive. he has the 7-cost kit as well as the 8-drop Odin. So every turn he could potentially swing 8k 3 times, and it's going to be very hard to deal with. If he just chooses to go straight for game, he probably could just take it. But again, I'm forced to be aggressive. I have 10 Don now. If I do have the 7-drop now, it would help. If not, I will just have to be really aggressive and try to stall out the game with some blockers while I be aggressive. So I put 2 on Kinemon, 1 for his Okiku. He lets it go, and then now I'm doing a 9,000 swing with Odin to leader. He takes the first one. I'm going to restand the Odin. If Odin doesn't live, I'm basically going to lose. And so I restand him, leave him active, and then I play out a 6-drop Yamato just to add more board. And the reason I'm doing that is I literally just need more swings to have a chance at game. With Odin I have 2 swings, with leader I have 3, and with another card Yamato I have 4 swings. So if I can keep both of those characters on board and he doesn't have more blockers, there's a possibility of just winning by being aggressive. So his turn, he's just swinging and I kind of forced to counter out of it. He Yamato's my Yamato, so there it kind of ends my hope of being able to continue my aggression. And he's going to start poking my leader. He has 5 Don left. And he uses 2 of them to play out 2 blockers with 3 Don up. And he passes turn. So he has all the defensive cards. He's able to chump block my swings, as well as potentially having the events to counter easily. So I'm just going to probe to see what he has. So I have 5,000 to leader. If I have more characters in hand, I'm probably forced to just go wide. He uses the Punk Gibson for the first swing. Now I swing 8,000 with Odin. And he is deciding whether or not to use the 2 Don, and he does have the Punk Gibson as well. So he did have both events. And I eventually had to take those out of his hand, so it's good that he used them. It looks like I only have 5 cards in hand. He has about 2 or 3. And I swing again with Odin. I really need to get those blockers off the board. Me being at 3 health doesn't help, just because he has 1 swing with leader, 1 with 7 costs, and then 2 with Odin. That's already 4 swings. And if I don't have any blockers up, he potentially has lethal if he wants to be aggressive. I Momo'd into another Izo, but those 2k counters are a little too late for them, just because every swing I'll have to drop a card. I play out an Okiku and a killer blocker. Hopefully I can protect my 8-drop Odin, but he's going to be smart about it and just swing 8,000 to 8,000. I'm going to be forced to drop 1 card for each swing, and he has the ability to swing 3 times with 8,000 with minimal Don investment. So that's my first card to protect Odin. He's going to 8,000 his Odin to my Odin. I'm going to have to draw up another card, and both of these are 2Ks. My hand is down to 2. So it's looking really good for him. He's putting 2 Don onto Yamato, 8,000 to my Odin. I'm going to block that, draw a card. If that's another counter, that would be very helpful. The Okiku I have on board will help with resting his beige, so I can still poke his life if my Odin survives. He restands his Odin and then swings 10k to my Odin, and unfortunately I have to let it go. At least Odin replaces himself. So I'll pull out another Okiku. I have 3 swings. He does have 7 drop on his board, so he's able to block one of my attacks. So now I have 2 Okikus on board with my leader, 3 5,000 swings, 10 Dawn. He's at 2 life, I'm at 3 life, but my life doesn't really matter just because his board is so wide. He puts up another blocker, and good thing I do have a Yamato in hand to rest it, but that was 4 Dawn commitment. I'm swinging 6 to leader and resting his beige. Here I kind of just commit to going all in. Very unlikely that it'll happen, but my thought is if he doesn't have any counters in hand, which is possible playing Kinemon, I can force him to block the last attack with the 7 drop kid, and at least he'll be short 1 character. So he blocks my 7,000 swing with his 7 drop kid, but if you look in his hand, he does have 2 1k counters, and he counters out of that one. And I play a Toki for 1. And the game looks pretty much sealed. He does have the 2 chump blockers that I wasn't able to get rid of. His 7 drop kid restands, and his massive board will just run over mine and slowly go for game. Even going second in this game, typically it helps because you can draw into your 7 cost kid, but if you can draw into and play the 7 cost kid first and have follow-up plays for continued aggression, you can typically win the mirror like that. And if we saw what happened with his plays, he played the 7 drop kid on curve, played the 8 drop Odin right after, and then from there, because I didn't have enough pressure to counteract that, he kind of just snowballed. And now he's just cleaning up my board. And even though I have the life advantage, again, since he has the board presence and I have nothing, this should be a sealed game for him. Whereas if I was playing Zoro, that Diable Jambe is always a threat, but in green we don't have anything like that. I finally get the 7 drop kid. Not going to do anything now. 7 drop kid is definitely something you want to mulligan for in the matchup. I am trying to decide if it's worth trying to mulligan into the early game, just because the early game doesn't do much. If I have Okiku turn 1, it can rest something, but then it's just going to die the next turn. So I definitely want to see that 7 drop kid, and potentially an 8 drop. And if I just have like 1 early game card, like 1 Yamato or just 1 Okiku, it'd be enough. Here I did play out 1 Punk Gibson, so I was able to rest one of his blockers. So it is possible for me to win the game if I can keep the 7 drop kid on board, and I have a way to rest that beige. I could just swing twice, potentially for game. And that's game. Thanks for watching.